welcome back to another RPG Maker Unite tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about weapons and armor. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so here we are in a Unite project, and the first thing I want to do is show you where exactly the weapons are. You go to your character here, under actors, you can see that we have a weapon right here that you can, as a starting equipment. And so now where does this weapon come from? What do we do with it? And so we can come down here to classes, and we can see that in our hero class, which the hero is a part of, you can see these different tabs right here. We've talked about some of these already, but today we're going to be focused on weapons and armor. We can see that we have weapon types that are associated with this class. If you click on add, you can add as many weapons as you want. So I could add an axe right here. I could delete this one. And now we have the sword, dagger, and axe as the weapons that this class can have. This hero throughout the game will be able to use swords, daggers, and axes. All right. So now where do these exactly come from? Well, to get the answers there, you got to come back down here more, and you need to set up a equipment items under weapons. And then you can see that we have some short swords. Let's just take a look at this one. If you wanted to create more, you would right click and click new. But let's just go in and see what this one is. You can see that it has a name right here, and then you can import the image. And there's a bunch of images that come with it. So you should have enough to get started if you just want to use these default ones. You give it a quick description, but now we have to set a type. And so right here, there's already one set up, but let's just say that you wanted a different type. What you would do is you'd come down even further, and you would go to edit types, you go to weapon types, and you would add a new type, right? So in this one, this is a sword. Let's take a look at sword. And you can see that literally all it really comes with is an attack animation. Now, this is what kind of an attack animation it is. So is it a thrust like a spear? Is it a swing like a sword? Or is it a projectile like a crossbow or a bow and arrow, right? So this one is definitely a swing. And then you need to click on the image. Now, where do you get the image? So then you got to scroll down a little bit further and you go to Resource Manager, and under Side View Battlers, you go to Weapons, and then right here is where you actually set the image. And so you import the image, you set the frames, and then you set the animation speed. And then this is what is going to be your animation. So really, when you are adding one, you're most likely going to start from here, actually, the resource. You're going to add a new weapon, you're going to set it up, then you're going to come up here to types. You're going to then add a new weapon type. Then you're going to come up here to weapons. You're going to add a new weapon. And then finally, you're going to go to, well, maybe not finally, but one of the last steps is to go to classes. You're then going to add it right here in the class. And then lastly, if you are starting with that, you would add it right here. Okay. So that was a really quick rundown. Let's see what else we have to offer on the weapons. So let's go back to the short sword here. And you can see we just explained the weapon type, exactly how it works, how you get the animation and things like that. But now you can see that we have a price, the sell price. We can say whether it's sellable or not. We can say that it's a switch item. Now, what a switch item is if it's usable for an event switch. There is a new parameter called switch item. And if you have certain items that are switch items, it can be used for a condition for your events. So now I want to show you how I actually got that information for switch item because I didn't really know exactly what it was. And this might help you in your workflow to understand any of these type of things. Basically what I did was I went to the manual here. You can click on manual. You can do a quick search. So I just typed in weapons because that was the general thing that I wanted. So I typed in weapons. I copied this link and then I went to a place called Notebook LM, which is where you can add sources of information and then you can ask the AI of it and it will give you that information based off of the sources that you provided. So you can see here that I added the classes of the RPG Maker Unite manual. So over here I went to classes and then I added that website here. You can just click add right here, website, and then copy paste it right here. I don't have it copied, but yeah, that's where you would paste it. It show up right here. Then you can select the sources that you want. I know that there's weapon options in the classes, and I knew that there was the weapon options right here. So then I just simply asked, what does switch item mean? And it says when creating a weapon switch or a weapon, setting switch items to on will allow the weapon to be used as a switch item for an event condition. And then it gives you the source where you found it. So it shows you where you found it on the source. But anyway, this is really cool. I would recommend everyone have a notebook for the particular engine that you're using. And then that way you can get some very, very narrowed down tech support from it. All right, so moving on, this thing has the auto guide parameter thing. So you really just set it based off levels here and you can click apply. and it's going to give you just the basic sell price, attack price, or attack and stuff like this. Go like this, you can apply and you can see that it'll be more, and then you can just edit it from there. So let's just say, you know what, I really wanted it 60. Boom, I got it 60. Then you can give it traits. So this is an attack element physical. So this is again tagged as an attack element of the physical type. And then you can do other stuff like this for parameters. Let's say that we could increase the critical hit rate by 10 on this particular weapon. And then you can add as many as you want. You can delete as many as you want. All right, so that is the equipment item. Now let's go down here and see if there was any more stats we didn't cover under the weapon type. And nope, we covered this. Basically, you would just put in the wing or what kind of a animation it is, and then you would put the animation that you made in the resources. All right, so now let's move on to armor. Let me close these up right here. We don't need resources anymore because armor doesn't have a resource. And let's go back to class. All right, so as you can see, there are some armor types as well. There's general armor, got some options right here, and then it used this, and then it has some shield options right here. So now let's look into where these armor are coming from. All right, so if we scroll back down to equipment and items, you can see under armor here, we can add a new armor. Let's just take a look at these armors and see a little bit of their stats. We got the name just like normal. We can import an icon, description, but you can see that we have different types associated with an armor. We have an equipment type, which is associated with like more a body part. So you got your head shield, you got your body, you got your normal shield on your arm, and then you can add as many as you want, but these are just kind of the basics. So you could have like legs, leg armor, hand armor, those kind of things. And then you have the armor type. So this is more like what style of armor is it? You know how those games come with sets of armor? This would be more like a set of armor. Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it magic? Things like that. A small, large shield. And now, how do we add more of these different types? Well, if we scroll down a little bit more, you can see that in the types, we have armor types and we have equipment types. You can right click, add a new armor type, right click, add a new equipment type. And let's just look at what they contain. It's basically just a stat. So it's just a name, basically. And the same thing with the weapon type, or with the equipment type, I mean. And so if we go back up here to this linen cloth, you can see that it has the same kind of an auto guide thing. If we could apply from a level 1 perspective, this would be about stats that would fit. We can change it, tweak it however we need, give it some magical defense, give it some other stats that will increase the player stats. And then also we have traits just like normal. And for instance, we could do critical hit on this one, counter rate on this, magical reflection, evasion rate. And so, yeah. So these are the stats of armor and how you apply them. And simply when you scroll back up to the class, you can see that this is where you would add more if you create more or want more. And then you would simply go to the actor and you would say what it starts with right here. So this is what exactly it will start with. And then you can just set up shops to buy more items and weapons and armor. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, you can comment below. We'll try to get you figured out. And with that said, I'll see you at the next video.